up, my ducks? It's Simon. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So this evening, I'm going to be talking about the Mary L Tarot, the second edition in particular, some of the differences. And funnily enough, even though I've been on YouTube for 3.5 years, I've never actually done a walkthrough of the Mary L Tarot, because it was a deck that I had before I had a channel. But before I show the Mary L, I just wanted to show you these that arrived today as well, because these are really beautiful. They're handmade and they're Orgonites, and I saw them first, well, one of them anyway, on Rochelle's channel, Amethyst Ascension. She showed them and they were free shipping if you lived in the UK, although they've come from China. Free shipping if you lived in the UK, and they were really reasonably priced. So I will show you what I have got. I've got one that I'm going to use for healing and the other for meditation. And they come in these lovely little boxes and within their own bags, these lovely bags. In fact, it'll probably be better if I show you holding up to light, really. So the first one is this beautiful lapis lazuli. It's a lapis lazuli sphere inside this gorgeous pyramid, and just look at the copper spiral and the blue and turquoise spiral. It reminds me of like a galaxy in there. Such beautiful colours and swirls, and underneath there's beautiful chippings of gold, and yeah, really beautiful. So I'm going to use that one for healing in particular. And then the second one that I have, same box, same little bags. These bags will be good for, putting small decks in, won't they? Is this beautiful Tree of Life organ, and I just love it. And this one is for meditation, because I could just go into that landscape under that tree. And this is peridot with tiger's eye crystals, and you can see all the tiger's eye chippings and things in there, particularly if you turn it over and have a look at the underneath, the beautiful tiger's eye there. But yeah, really beautiful. I love the way that these shimmer, and yeah, they're just gorgeous, completely gorgeous, and the little flecks of colour that shine through. So yeah, I just wanted to mention them because they arrived today, and I'd forgotten actually that I'd ordered them a few weeks ago. So it was a lovely surprise to receive them in the post. I'm just gonna have a sup of my coffee. So my journey, firstly, with the Mary L Tarot. Wow, it goes way back. So I bought this deck 4 years ago. So in 2016. I can still remember when I bought it. It was around Halloween. This is the original copy, although trimmed. And I got it and I didn't like, well, no, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. The artwork is stunning. I edged it in black. They're quite glossy. The original first edition was quite heavily laminated. The artwork is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But I found it really intimidating. And I think a lot of that had to do with the book. This is the original book. And I don't know why, I was learning, because if you remember, my story with tarot is 33 years ago, Marseille, the 1JJ Swiss, 2008, Rider-Waite-Smith and Rider-Waite-Smith thereon in. But really studying it, the Rider-Waite-Smith, in earnest around the middle of 2016. So when this deck came along, I just didn't know really how to work with it. Now, there are some people who say that this is a little bit RWS and a little bit Thoth. There are others that say this is a Marseille deck, which I struggle to see myself, but kind of like an illustrated Marseille deck. Whatever it is, whether it's RWS, a little bit RWS, a little bit Thoth, a little bit Marseille, it's the Muriel. It's what it is. But I was quite, I'm not going to say put off, but I put it on the shelf and thought, I'll come back to that at some point. Then I put it up in a trade group. And because everybody was buying Muriel at the time, it didn't go. And then I watched a walkthrough from Elle at Sacred Seed, and I had the call to work with it. And I worked with it really intuitively. I did decide to take the borders off. So I took the borders off and I hand wrote what they were, so I would know, because as I said, this isn't that in line with RWS. So I just put 5 and C for 5 of cups, 7 of cups, etc. What I love about this deck is the how the 7s kind of go together. Some of the suits really link quite well across. The 4s, for instance, for the elements. This one is around the 7 parts of the soul, you know, Plato's 7 parts of the soul, which if you have something like Tower of the Sevenfold Mystery, really goes into that. And this is the shadow element of the soul. Artwork is unbelievable. I absolutely love it. And some of my favourite cards in tarot are in the Muriel deck that I just adore. That's the light part of the soul, the 7 of Wands. So that was my first deck. I wasn't a trimmer or modifier, so I actually paid a company, a printing company, to trim this for me, and they took off all of the borders, and it's perfect. You know, it was done digitally, so it's perfectly smooth, like it would be if you bought it like that. And then, and this box was made for me by Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Because this is probably one of my most, if not the best Emperor card in existence. I absolutely love that card. And she made me this box. And in here, I've got this beautiful wrap. This is what it looked like. This is still the first edition. And this gorgeous, come all the way from Spain. It was made from me from a subscriber. This was a gold gilded edition, which they weren't out for long. Probably about a year before they announced the second edition, they started doing this one in gold, and then yeah, it was just really, and it was pot luck whether you got one or not, and I really hoped that I would. Somebody said, oh, if you buy now from Book Depository, they're the gold edition ones. So I ordered it and I was lucky enough to get it. So these were the borders. So you can see that, I mean, they're not huge borders, but I just thought the artwork really jumped out once they were trimmed. This is one of the replaced cards. So the Hierophant is one of 4 cards that have changed within. I love that, lovers. That divine love. You know, such opposites here as well. Quite tribal, quite sort of, I don't know, it's like almost like a, what would you call it? It looks like almost like a, I can't think of the word, like a guru. But it's like 2 cultures, but love having no boundaries. It's also very, with this figure, almost like a Madonna in the background. It's that divine love, that divine connection. So yeah, really beautiful. So I couldn't ever trim this one down, and it was nice to have one that's trimmed and one that's untrimmed, and especially because it's got the gold gilding. So back end of last year I ordered the second edition, which came with this gilding that didn't really take. It's like a slate grey, and the cards now are more matte, and they have obviously the printing. You don't have to, same size now, printed down. And you can see here there is a slight colour variation as well between, you can see on the skin tones. This one is a little bit paler in the second edition. Actually, they're in lined up, but there was a damage on the bottom of the cards. Do you see there? There was like yeah, just a damage where they were stuck together because of the gilding. So they were recalled, and as it not from everybody who bought it. You could send them back, obviously, but you know, from sale they were recalled. And then a few months later, the new second edition, which I believe has silver gilding now rather than this black gilding, although I really like the black gilding with the black backs. And that's what I've had sent now, the Mary Out second edition. I should really put these in order so I could show. No, I know what I'll do. I'll just take out the 4 change cards so you can see, rather than you know, do a side-by-side comparison. There's enough videos out there of that if that's what you want, but I'll take out the 4 changed cards and I'll be back. Okay, so let's open her up. So there has been some changes to the book as well, and the box is shorter in length. So I mean, I just love the presentation of Schiffer decks. They're just so beautiful. So this is the Mary L. Tarot second edition by Marie White. So it says, in this new and revised second edition of the powerful alchemy of the soul, the Mary L. Tarot revisits 78 magnificent tarot cards, including 4 new and enchanting paintings, an updated guidebook, Landscapes of the Abyss, with fresh keyword symbolism and traditional oil paintings in the classic style. Enjoy a journey through the meaning of each card via the landscape of the moon and high priestess, and enter the geometry of the temple and tree of life, macabre and caduceus. 5 spreads will help you find a doorway between heaven and earth, microcosm and macrocosm, and the world of the eternity and infinity, all leading to symbols and arrangements. And there's some beautiful cards in here which show those kind of doorways into the eternities. Hidden within the language of art. This presentation is a rare and exquisite gem that will reflect the truth inside you, suitable for all levels of tarot experience. And yes, I would agree to that, in as much as you know, if you're starting out reading tarot, then I think, me personally, you have to just work with this deck as a standalone deck. Having some knowledge of RWS, Marseille, Thoth does help, but particularly if you're an intuitive reader, these pictures or these images, these pieces of artwork are so beautiful that they draw you in anyway and really speak to you on a deep and profound level. So where it says people are suitable for all tarot experience, I shared that, you know, when I was starting out really studying with the tarot, I was a little bit confused by it because I wasn't sure of the system it was following. But now, you know, it's a beautiful deck to work with. So you get 78 tarot cards and guidebook working with the alchemy of the soul, 4 new oil paintings with updated guidebook, suitable for all levels of tarot experience, and it's 2019 edition. So, although I think it was the beginning of this year that we started to get the improved. So we have this book, the Mary L. Tarot, Landscapes of the Abyss. Let me just have a look at the previous copy. So they're about the same size. The only difference is this is second edition. It's got Schiffer on the front, but not, does it say Schiffer there? The old book had 192 pages. and this one has, oh, and it's colour, 192 pages. So of course there's the difference because these are black and white images, but there's new writings and things in here as well. We've got this lovely glossy paper, and that's gorgeous, really beautiful. Oh. This is how the book should be presented. Yeah, so let's have a look at our, oh, it's because it's got red feather on the inside there. So copyright was 2012, this is the 2019 version, so it's been out for a while now. Your contents, the introduction, landscapes of the abyss, battle not with monsters lest you become a monster, and if you gaze for long into the abyss gazes also into you. Oh, fantastic. Death, Mr. Emperor, we must dance. Major and minor together. The structure of the tarot. So here we have the layout of the cards. In this system, the Marielle, the Justice card is number 8 rather than Strength, and Strength is at 11, a bit like Marseille and Thoth. And then we have the traditional Wands, Swords, Cups and Discs. Again, that's probably why people say it's more Marseille. And then Page, Knight, Queen and King. And we go straight into the cards. Here we have our courts. Oh, this book smells wonderful. I love new book smells. And then it looks like we have our spreads at the back. Yeah, so after the King of Discs, we have using tarot, daily readings, relationship spreads, yes or no, past life. Yeah, so spreads, and then conclusion and endnotes. And a little bit about Marie White there. Such a talented artist as well. And the book is written beautifully. So the cards are inside. Yes, they're silver gilded. I'll probably take all this out, to be honest, and put the book and the cards in a bag inside. Maybe I should even swap them now. I've had them inside this wooden box for a long time. These ones, obviously, as I showed you, went inside my Emperor box. But, or I could put, actually, the ones, now these are, where have I put them? Oh, here they are. The black ones could go in there and be packed away because I'll be using these ones. All right, so I have taken out the 4 old cards, so you can see when we get to them. And let's get this open. I don't want to damage any of the wow, they sparkle. That's beautiful gilding. And it doesn't feel like they're stuck together. They feel like they're, yeah, really feel nice. I love this new size. In terms of comparing with a tarot, regular tarot, let's grab a, they're just a little bit shorter and a fraction wider, and I'm talking like a hair. So really nice. Oops, let's pop these back. So here we have our Fool, and make sure you're in the center so I can zoom in. Our Fool is beautiful. You know, we've got all these butterflies. I love these dragons that are swirling around. The Fool is naked, so you do get some nudity in the Mary El Tarot. So hopefully that's not too off-putting for people, but you can see our Fool is male. But yeah, that for me, that just kind of shows the vulnerability of the Fool. And there's all this energy happening here as well. It's really wonderful. They feel really nice. They've got a lovely feel, these cards. Almost linen-y, but not. They're smooth on one side, but they feel a little bit rougher on the back. Lovely and durable. Here we have our Magician, which is just wonderful, isn't it? Again, you know, these kind of portals, these gateways into something. Look at the water around his feet. We've got the lemniscate above his head, which we're used to seeing, but there's this kind of abyss on the inside. Here we've got, who is it? Is it Metatron, I want to say? Yeah, Metatron's cube, isn't it? That's being manifested there. Beautiful Magician card, really wonderful. Yeah, and those trees creating that doorway between the world. Let's just have a quick look at what the book, how much information the book gives you on the cards as well. So here we have the write-up for the Magician. Just as the Fool is nothing, the Magician is everything. It contains everything, and everything flows from it. The Magician stands between the primordial mother hidden beneath the surface of the water and the primordial father with his son and the infinite lemniscate. The two trees, yes, here we go. The two trees are doorways between the spiritual and corporeal world. And the Magician cloaked in earth, which is this colour here, this kind of tree bark colour, is handing you the Metatron's cube or the Phoenix's egg. Wow. So you get a lot of information, and then all this, and then you get your keywords upright and reversed. So that's wonderful. So here's our High Priestess. Now this is a changed card. So our original High Priestess is here, which I thought was wonderful. I did think it was wonderful. But I like this as well. And it, you know, with the Magician, you know, you've got this cloak again and this kind of abyss on the inside. You've got the pomegranates here. You've got your B and J, your black and white columns. So it's kind of more coming towards a Rider-Waite-Smith. What does the book say? What does the book say? I am all that has been and is and shall be, and my robe no mortal has yet uncovered. Temple of the abyss, temple of the subterranean waters. She is the Hymen priestess, guardian of the gate of life and death, with a veil of flesh. She parts her parchment scroll or columnar legs to reveal the wisdom within. If you pull aside her veil, there may be several drops of blood, like crimson pomegranate seeds, to show that you passed away. The High Priestess is the counterpart of the Magician. He is the masculine energy, yang, and she is the feminine void, yin. He is the day, she is the night. He is radiance, brilliance, illumination. She is darkness and secrets. She is without, she is within. Together they are our spiritual mother and father and the heavenly king and queen. Wow. So now, having read that and seeing the change, I'm really liking it. I think it's beautiful. The Empress is gorgeous. Really gorgeous Empress card. I love it. I really love it. This fruit, the nature around her, the tree. Look at this little, you know, because the Empress is often depicted as very maternal, a kind of a mother archetype. And there's this little baby strapped to the back around this binding, which is really beautiful. I've already mentioned the Emperor card, but just look how fantastic that Emperor is. For me, it's the best Emperor card. I just love it so much. It feels kind of Celtic. Look at this sword, how ornate it is as well. And these little fish along the swords. Just wonderful. And these Celtic designs. Beautiful. So the Hierophant is another change. So there was 3 changes to the major and 1 to minor. And this is the original Hierophant card. It was problematic to a lot of people. I do remember seeing lots of reviews years ago about the Mary El Tarot and people really not liking this card. It didn't bother me. It does have a kind of a Catholic feel to it, you know, this kind of, she almost looks like a nun. She's breastfeeding. People refer to these as alien babies. I don't think that's what they are, but yeah, so that card has changed and we have this beautiful Hierophant. I think it's really stunning. Because it's a changed card, and I'm not going to read from the book for all the cards, but because it's a changed card, there's a poem by William Wordsworth. Thus talking of the peasant, we approached close to the spot where with this rod and line he stood alone, whereat he turned his head to greet us, and we saw a man worn down by sickness, gaunt and lean, with sunken cheeks and wasted limbs, his legs so long and lean, that for my single self I'd looked at them, forgetful of the body they sustained. Too weak to labour in the harvest field, the man was using his best skill to gain a pittance from a dead, unfeeling lake that knew not of his wants. I will not say what thoughts immediately were ours, nor how the happy idleness of that sweet morn with all its lovely images was changed. And that's a poem of naming of places. This is not the last card in which Babylon will appear. She is a gateway to the powerful truths that lie within us and are completely blasphemous to any who believe you need something external for redemption, salvation, happiness, and an immortal soul and life after death. She is a monster to those who fear their own power. She is a devil to those who fear the vision of their true self or the uninitiated. Babylon means gate of the gods. Hierophant means revealer of the sacred. Mystery means sacred rite or doctrine. Wow. And there's a lot more obviously written, but it's a beautiful book, beautifully written book. Here's our lovers that I just mentioned. Beautiful. As I said, just those sort of 2 energies, this divine love. I love this in the background. Gorgeous lovers card. The Chariot, I think, is so powerful. Such a powerful Chariot card. All these wolves here, you know, that need to be tamed. She needs to be in control of them, you know, to keep moving forward with them. It's wonderful. Justice card is probably my least favourite, but that's because, you know, of the kind of Egyptian feel to it. And I don't know what it is. I don't have any Egyptian tarot decks, with the exception of one, which was a majors one that was gifted to me. But I haven't ever bought any. There's just something, I think it's probably connected to a previous life, but there's just something about Egyptian art but it's beautiful. It's beautifully painted. Here we have the Hermit, which, you know, I love the Hermit, and I love this kind of wind and the watery feel to it, but it's very different to a Hermit card, you know. But I like it because I love water and I love being by the water, and I class myself as a hermit. But it'd be interesting to see just what she says about the Hermit card. So all it says really is, you know, like the sun, the enlightened soul shines outward, banishing the darkness as wisdom banishes ignorance. His robes are flesh pulled tightly around him, but it still can't contain it all. Is there anything more beautiful and luminous than a person living 100% of who they are? That's so true, isn't it? Babies are born perfect and divine, a pure vision of innocence. As they age and learn the ways of the world of contrast and duality, it becomes their responsibility to grow, struggle and overcome, to forge the enlightened soul. In the end, the hermit is worn-torn and scarred inside and out, but he has persevered and he has carried forth the energy to a new generation so it can live on and chase their holy grails. The hermit is a piece of the sun. Wow. The hermit is not alone because he is secluded. He is alone because he is all there is. The lamp is the sun stolen from the gods and eaten by the raven, which also appears in this deck. Down in our guts, the sun inside the universe. Oh, lovely stuff. Oops. We have our Wheel of Fortune. Again, beautiful card. Really like that. We've got it's got the kind of this goddess feel to it. I mean, she's blindfolded. You know, fate takes a hand. It's like she's in like a boat on water. But this shape, you know, and the wheel being part of her body, it's kind of goddess. Yeah, it just reminds me of, you know, lots of the goddess statues that I have. Goddess-esque, I think was the word I'm trying to look for. Beautiful, beautiful strength card. It did take me a while with this card when I first had this deck for my eyes to readjust. But, you know, these are her knees. She's kneeling. She's in prayer, meditation, however you want to term it. She's got these mala beads. And she's manifesting the strength from within. And it's really beautiful. The Hanged Man. Beautiful. I love these hanging garlands. Really lovely. Death card is one of my favourite death cards. This and the death card from the Deviant Moon. I absolutely love it. It is such a powerful image. It represents decay, doesn't it? Again, let's have a quick look. What would you die for? The death card is a tarot's memento mori, here to remind you that you are mortal, to live a good life, to live it to the fullest, for one day too you will die. The card shows Morta the crone, the cutter of the thread of life, giving your soul liberation. The threads of life are her radiating hair, or this here. The flower is a traditional memento mori symbol, as flowers only bloom for a short time before their petals fall back to the dirt. Mantis is a Greek word for prophet, as Morta knows your hour of death. The 13th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Mem, which means water. What is the abyss but water with no end and no light? Go into death is to go into this dark place, be it set in the water of oblivion or the water of your own subconsciousness. As you descend, you shed your sins, your guilt, the pieces of clothing that make up your life until you reach the bottom, naked. You can see yourself for what you truly are. Wow. Temperance. I love the Temperance card. I've got an image of this in my Midori, my Traveller's Notebook. I just think it's a perfect coming together of water and fire. It's got this fiery energy here, the colour of fire and the beautiful water. The Devil, I wasn't sure at first. It is growing on me. I like it as a devil card. It's very sort of, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to find, where it's kind of like symmetrical. That's it, that's the word I'm looking for. But it is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of art. The Tower, love the Tower card. Yeah, let's just have a look, because I always see that as Statue of Liberty. Whether it's meant to be or not, I don't know. The Tower and the Lightning are lovers. The liberation of divine light through the phallus that is the Tower. For the purpose of both creation or destruction, which ones are the same? The Tower is the ultimate phallic symbol, a penis or lingam, representing the male principle in the universe and the creative force penetrating from one world into another. Wow. The Tower is the energy, power and life force of God, Genesis style life force to create or destroy. The lightning struck the Tower as a doorway to a new paradigm of self. The Tower is like the Grail Castle. Within it's the most precious thing, the true self, the immortal soul of the Holy Grail. When the Tower is destroyed, the heart is laid bare. So it doesn't say, you know, what the Tower is modelled on. So we see what we see, don't we? The Star, beautiful star card. Just really beautiful. One of the great things about trimming these decks is the fact that the moon and the sun are two sides of the same coin. And when they're laid out together, let me try and get this just right. They're really, really beautiful. Isn't that lovely? We've got these opposites. We've got night and day. We've got shadow and light. Just wonderful. Male and female. The duality is just gorgeous. Judgement is a changed card. So this was the original, this phoenix rising. And here, you know, we have a phoenix as well in flight. Both beautiful. I'm not quite sure. You know, I can understand why perhaps cards like the Hierophant was changed, or, you know, when we come to the Three of Swords, I'll explain why I think that one was changed, but I'm not quite sure of the reason for this change, but both lovely. And then we have the World. And the World just reminds me, you know, lots of tarot decks have universe, but you've got the female that we see in the World, but this beautiful universe around her and within her, and really gorgeous. Okay, so I think I'm not going to do this with all cards, but there's a lot of cards within the minors that really lend themselves to be seen together. Oh, sorry, I put a 2 there. Oh, I see. They're put together anyway. I was going to look through, but they're actually coming together. I might have to zoom out on this one. So here for the aces, we have these kind of like, you know, what was talking about earlier, these sort of portals, and they're very god and goddess like, you know, these kind of universes within these portals, and each within their belly has a different one. So you've got like the fiery red of the wands, the blue of the cups, the green of the earth, the yellow of the swords, but it's really, really beautiful. I think they're described as cherubs or some kind of angelic. You can see the wings on them, beautiful wings here. This has got is it a hawk's head? You know, some have animal heads. They are naked. They represent both male and female. As you can see here, there is female breasts, but we have penis. Same here. You can't really tell on that one because there's binding happening, but you can hear. So there's that, again, that duality. but they're beautiful. Here we have our 2s. Oh, I love the 2 of discs. And again, we've got these trees here. This looks like a face. I always see a face there in the tree. But trees are spirits, yeah. And just here, look, see a nose and 2 eyes. So, tree people, tree spirits. But there's that sense of going through again into a portal, into the abyss, which is just beautiful. I love the horses here, kind of like unicorns with the horns. The 2 of discs, I do want to see what she's saying about that. I love the way they're grouped together as well in the deck and in the book. One eye is the sun and looks out, and one eye is the moon and looks within. So looking out, looking within, sun and moon. Between them, a veil of flesh separating the face of matter. Wow, everything is body. So they're wonderful. We have our 3s. Now this is a changed card, 3 of Swords. Love that, so beautiful. So this was the original 3 of Swords, and I think, and I could be wrong, this has been changed because, you know, it's not like there's any harm to the bird, but I don't know, it doesn't look too happy. Do you see this face here as well? I see faces in everything, so other people might be saying, no, there's no face there, Simon, just... But I like this. It is very RWS, Solabusca style, you know, where Pixie got the inspiration for her 3 of Swords. Beautiful. I love this 3 of discs, this family unit here. Really gorgeous. Remember, we're not comparing to RWS, Marseille or Thoth as well. It's just, it is what it is. And this beautiful 3 waterfalls here for the water energy of the cups. We've got that kind of like this Horus, Eye of God or something here. Wonderful. The 4s are my favourites. They really just show the energy of each of the suits here just perfectly. Look at that. The wands, the fiery sky, the tree, which is a huge sort of baton, a wand in itself. You've got the swords representing air, and look at these beautiful clouds and little birds caught up in the clouds as well. Beautiful landscape. The 4 of Cups, this beautiful shell and the crashing of the waves, and then the 4 of Discs, the rocky mountains and the terrain. Really beautiful. We have the 5s. Love the 5 of Discs. Really love that. And again, this is another art piece I've got in my journal. I think it's wonderful. So many portals within this deck. Gorgeous. All of them are really beautiful. And we have our 6s. So no more cards have been changed now. And I just want to kind of, rather than keep talking, I just kind of want to just soak in the images with you as well. Just how beautiful they are. And you see how they kind of lend themselves to be read intuitively. You could almost have a Mary L version without titles. And I did contemplate on my original deck that I wrote the titles on, just having them as these beautiful art pieces where you didn't necessarily know what they was representing, so you could just read them intuitively. I've kind of already mentioned the 7s, but we'll look at them. You know, that Plato's 7 Parts of the Soul, which I think is just wonderful. I love the light and the shadow. Look at, I mean, those two together, just phenomenal. Here, you know, the stealing of the sun. Do you remember, which was in the referred to in the Hermit's card? The stealing of the sun. I love this serpent around as well, look. We have the 8s. Beautiful. I love the duality here. This little lamb sitting in the middle of the 8 of discs. Wow. Such fierce opposing energies, and just the gentle lamb in the middle. She's really beautiful. I love this scene of the beautiful tower in the distance and the garden and the gateway leading to it. All just gorgeous. And we have the 9s. Wow. Look at this tiger. Beautiful. We have the black and white columns here, night and day. The Ankh. Let's have a quick read what it says about the 9 of Cups. It's a fascinating card. The baboon is the aspect of Thoth. Does it seem strange to have a god of science, math and measurement as the main character of a cup card? Yes, I've radically changed my views on cups, or the element of water, over the years. This is unusual. She's actually describing her process now. Once I thought of it as emotion, relationships and the like. I still do, but I think of those things as merely the surface ripples of a deep well of truth and knowledge. Emotions are language that our subconscious uses to motivate us, to prod us, to communicate with us. That knowledge is currently our entire ancestry. The black and white towers are ubiquitous duality, male and female, yin and yang, sun and moon, up and down, inside out, macrocosm, microcosm, good and evil, higher self and shadow, etc. In our earthly incarnation, we live with both black and white in somewhat equal measure, and they weave themselves into our checkered ground pattern, which you see at the bottom there, that we walk upon. No matter where you step, you will surely have some black and some white under your feet. The 9-pointed star is made out of 3 triangles, 3 3s, fitting with the card number. There's so much in here. I'd love to read it all out. It talks about the stairway leading upward to the star. That means so many things. The stairway to heaven, Jacob's ladder, the road to eternity. It's the middle pillar, the central path to the mystic. So yeah, there's so much in this book. Ten. I have heard of people as well reordering this deck. You know, when it was bordered and you took the borders off and you had the opportunity, some people was like renaming this one as the death card, because it fits more with their structure, their belief structure, or their belief of what the tarot structure should be, I should say. But yeah, fantastic energy in this card. I love the pale moon in the background as well. Look at this one, the 10 of Cups. These skeletal figures here. Wonderful energy in the 10s. And then we have our pages. I love the little baby, all swaddled. For the discs, beautiful water theme here for the cups with the fish and a water element. Gorgeous. All of them are really beautiful. And then we have the knights. Love that. Look at him. The lightning in his hand. Flying on the back of an owl. Beautiful. Wow. The kind of juice from this fruit. Gorgeous. And then we have our queens. Each beautiful. Look at this, I'm assuming it's a raven with this eye looking out. She has a little crab here with some pearls. Queen of discs, beautiful garden, kind of half tree. Wonderful little baby cub, tiger cub. And then we have our kings. Love these kings. He's so, look at this, very pagan. Couple of our kings showing their masculinity off. This very earthy looking image is really a picture of the universe. It is Atum, the first creator god, and it's Lucet, his hand, the great acacia tree. Tree of life, the car of Atum, the physical universe. Atum had sex with himself. He sucked on his own phallus, making himself the Ouroboros. Wow, I didn't know that. He spit out the semen, creating air and moisture and probably the best rainbow ever, beginning the creation of the whole universe from his own flesh. This beginning of matter becomes a tree, a fantastic acacia tree that grows and the branches containing all life that ever exists, all matter. The whole of the manifest universe is a giant tree growing at the ends, flowering, branching and fruiting. Wow. The gods of the oceans, always incredibly powerful and mysterious. When all else fails, the ocean comes and wipes out whatever problem there is, as if it never existed. This king is a warrior, a soldier. He is hard, lean, weathered. He has been marked with a gold dragon, gold rays of the sun. And to redeem oneself, this is the ones now, to redeem oneself, that is to grasp the Holy Grail, one must be able to get it not by grace, but by strength and goodness of their own free will. Wow, so that is the Marielle, I'll put them upside down, Marielle 2nd edition from Red Feather over at Schiffer. Beautifully presented. I do love this new style. I'm happy with the card changes, but then I'm happy with the card changes because I've got the original deck as well, so I've got both that I could use. Cardstock, huge improvement. I like these, but they're a little bit too glossy and a little bit too large, so they're much preferable now for me. So let me know your thoughts. Do you have the Marielle? It is a popular tarot deck. Lots of people have it. Lots of people have done walkthroughs and things of it. This is just kind of the first impressions of the 2nd edition. It is beautiful. The oil paintings are masterpieces. It was one of those decks that I and ahed about putting it in my recent video, the top 10 all-time favorite decks. But I haven't used it for such a long time that I decided not to. Now I have this version again, I'm going to be working with it again and connect with it again, because it has been a couple of years since I've worked with it. And to be honest, I never read the book until today, because I looked at the book, as I said, when I first got the deck, and I just wasn't ready. but I'm excited about reading the book because it is written so beautifully. So anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you have the Mary L, how you work with it, whether you like it or not. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.